Hi, today we're working on 5.1, the greatest common factor and factor by grouping. What I want everyone to do today is I want you guys to read through the notes as I do the examples. So let's begin. First of all, this is very important. There are 4 steps to finding the greatest common factor. I would like you guys to read through them. I'm going to talk about them shortly. There's also a large amount of different divisibility tests. If you memorize them, great. I still don't remember them all. I know the basic ones, 2s and 5s, but there's other special ones, and they're good to know. So if you want to look at them, please do. It's not that it's mandatory. So I'm going to give you those. First of all, find the greatest common factor for each list of numbers. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to write out the numbers, and I'm going to write them out, and I'm going to use a factor tree. And this is how I do them. So I get the number 50, and I'm going to use a factor tree. And I try to just pick 2 numbers that I know offhand. I know 2 times 25 is 50. And then I know 5 times 5 is 25. So for the number 50, there is 2 times 5 times 5. Now for the number 75, I know that's 3 and 25, and then that's 5 times 5. So then 75 will be 3 times 5 times 5. I'm sorry, my dog is barking. So the greatest common factor, first of all, they both share a 5, so I'm not going to include that. They both share this 5, so I'm not going to include that. So, and once again, you want to find the greatest common factor. So they both have 5s in common. So this 5 times this 5 is 25. So 25 is the greatest common factor. That is just one way of doing it. All right. You pick what they both share, and if you take it and then you multiply them together if they happen to have more than one. So let's try 12. I'm going to line these ones up as well. 18, 26, and 32. Once again, you can make yourself a little tree, 3 and 4, and then that is 2 and 2. So I know that 2 times 2 times 3 is 12. I'm going to do 18. 18, I can do 2 and 9. 9 is 3 and 3. So I can do 2 times 3 times 3. 26 is 2 and 13. And so this is just going to be 2 and 13. And then 32, I know is 4 and 8. 4 is 2 and 2. 8 is 2 and 4, and then 2 and 2. So 32 can be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So first of all, they all share a 2. That I know for sure. They don't all share anything else. So the greatest common factor here is a 2. That's it. Plain old 2. That's the only thing they have a greatest common factor in. Greatest common factor here would have been 25. Okay, I like writing the little factor trees. It's time consuming, but it is helpful. And then listing them out. Now, the next one. Find the greatest common factor for each list of numbers. Well, this is kind of straightforward. 23 is prime, so that's not going to help me. So on this one, I can just tell you now it's going to be 1, because the greatest common factor for each list of the numbers, I'm so sorry, my clock is going off. 22 is just 1 and 22. Well, 2 and 11, sorry. It does have 2 and 11. Whoops, don't even know what I'm writing. So this is going to be 2 and 11. 2 times 11 is 22. 23, there's only 1 in 23. 24, it doesn't even matter anymore because they don't all 3 share something. So the greatest common factor on this one would be 1. That's it. Like, no big deal there. All right, let's go to the next one. What happens when you have variables? When they have variables, what you're going to do is this. The greatest common factor can also be found in a list of variables. The exponent on the variable is the greatest common factor, is the least exponent that appears, okay? So first of all, the numbers, 16, 10, and 8. I can tell you personally, I know that it's going to be 2 as the greatest common factor that can go into 16, 10, and 8. If you don't believe me, this is what it would be. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. For 10, it would be 2 times 5. For 16, it would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Well, they all share a 2. That's the greatest common factor for the numbers. Now, they all share a letter. They all share a variable, but you want to pick the one that has the smallest exponent. And that's because I can actually divide r to the 9th into r to the 9th. I can divide r to the 9th into r to the 15th. I can divide r to the 9th into r to the 12th. So if they all three share a variable, that means that their greatest common factor is going to be that variable, but with the smallest exponent. So that's going to be, there you go. All righty, let's keep on moving. Once again here, they don't have any numbers. However, they do share an S. And I'm going to pick the smallest exponent, and that's 3. They all share a T, and I'm going to pick the smallest exponent, which is 2. So that's going to be the greatest common factor. All righty, let's go to the next one. Now we're going to factor out a common numbers. I would love it if you guys read through that, please, and let's just go ahead and do the examples. What I'm looking at is the 6x to the 4th and the 12x. I know that they both share a 6. I know that they both share an x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor that out. Factoring is just a reversal of the distributive property. I'm going to ask myself, 6x times what gives me 6x to the 4th? Well, x to the 3rd. Remember, when you multiply powers, you add the exponents. Now, 6x times 2 gives me 12x. So if you want to double check your answers, multiply these two together, you better get 6x to the 4th. Multiply these two together, you better get 12x. And we do, so we're good. We're going to keep moving. Now on this problem here, we got 10, 25, and 30. I believe they all share a 5. They also all share a t to the 4th power. I chose to the 4th power because it was the smallest exponent. 5 times 6 is 30. T to the 4th times t to the 2nd is t to the 6th. Remember, when you multiply powers, you add the exponents. Now, 5 times a negative 5, then t to the 1st. I don't need to have the 1 there, but I can put it there if I want to. The next one, 5t to the 4th, times a positive 2 gives me 10t to the 4th. And there you go. I'm all finished. Letter C. They both share an r to the 10th power. Once again, it's the reversal of the distributive property. R to the 10th times r to the 2nd is r to the 12th. R to the 10th times 1 is r to the 10th. So that's all you're doing. It's the reversal of the distributive property. And now let's keep on moving. We got a big giant problem here. I'm looking at the 8, the 16, and the 12. Well, I know that 4 can go into all of them. 2 can go into them, but so can 4. Now they also all share a p, and they share a p to the 4th because that's the smallest exponent. They all share a q, and they all share a q to the 2nd. Okay? So now, 4 times 2 is 8. P to the 4th times p is p to the 5th. Q squared times 1 is q squared, so I don't have to do anything else. Now, 4 divided into 16 is 4, or 4 times 4 is 16. P to the 4th times p to the 2nd is p to the 6th. Q squared times q is q to the 3rd. 4 times a negative 3 is a negative 12. P to the 4th times p to the 4th is just 1. I'm sorry, you would just, you don't put anything down there. But q to the 2nd times q to the 5th is q to the 7th. And you're done. You just got them done. You can always double check your answers by doing the distributive property. Next one. This one says write in factored form by factoring out a negative common factor. All right, so I'm going to take out a negative 2x to the third. All right, so negative 2x to the third is going to be x squared, because that's going to give me negative 2x to the fifth. This is going to give me a positive 4x, because a negative 2x cubed times a positive 4x is a negative 8x to the fourth. The next one's going to be a negative 2, period, and that's it. Can't go any further. You're done. All right, next one. These ones here, this is like factoring by grouping. We have this whole thing right here minus this whole thing right here. Well, if you notice the things that are in blue, the p plus q, if I factor that out, this is gone and I'm left with 6. If I factor the p plus q out, this is gone and I'm left with a minus 4. Maybe that helps you. All right, next one. Oops, the bottom one. If you notice they both have a y plus 3, that means that they both share a y plus 3. So I'm going to factor that out. Now, when I factor it out, this is gone, and all that's left is y to the fourth. When I factor this out of here, all that's left is a minus 4. Sorry, that's a minus 7. All right, next one. Factor by grouping. This is my favorite. When you have 4 terms, what you do is you grab the first 2, you grab the last 2, and then you take care of each one individually. So here we go. You have 4 terms. This is a term, this is a term, this is a term, this is a term. All you have to do is grab them. You always want a plus sign in the middle, no matter what. If there's not a plus sign in the middle, put a plus sign in the middle. All right, here we go. We want to look and see what they both share. They share a q. So I get p plus 5. Q times p is pq. Q times 5 is 5q. That's all I did. Now this one here, they share a 2. So I'm going to take a positive 2 out. That's going to give me p plus 5. By the way, you don't even have to think about it anymore. You just copy what's inside here and put it here. Now what you do is you notice this has a p plus 5 and so does this. So you're going to take out a p plus 5. Now, once you do that, this cancels and you're left with q. When you take out a p plus 5 here, that cancels and you're left with a positive 2. You factored it, you're done, we can keep moving. All right, these 2 here, again, we take to grab these 2, you grab these 2. These 2 here, they share a y. So I'm going to take out a y. This one here doesn't share anything, so I like to see the 1, so I'm going to put the 1 there. Okay? Now, if you notice, they both share a 2x plus 3. Now, if I get rid of this 2x plus 3, I'm left with a y. If I get rid of this 2x plus 3, I'm left with a positive 1. And you're done. Now, the next one. I'm going to grab these 2, grab these 2. Remember, the plus sign is always in the middle. Now, these 2 share a 2a. So I'm going to take that out. That's going to give me a minus 2. These 2 here share a positive 3b. And I'm left with a minus 2. That's just a minus 2. Now they both share an a minus 2. And again, I take the a minus 2 out of here. I'm left with 2a. I take the a minus 2 out of here. I'm left with 3b. All done with that one. All righty, let's keep on going. How many more do we have? Oh my, we can do this. I have faith. All right, this one here has issues. X to the third plus 3x squared plus negative 5x minus 15. You guys, I like the plus sign in the middle. So I'm going to grab these 2 together. I'm going to grab these 2 together. You guys, all I did was put a plus sign in the middle. That's it. Always put a plus sign in the middle. I promise you it's helpful. These 2 here share an x squared. So factor an x squared. Remember, it's just you're taking out, it's a reversal of check your answers. That gives you that. This one here, they share a negative 5. And this inside here is going to be an x plus 3. Whatever the sign is here, that's what the sign here is going to be. Now, these both have an x plus 3, so take it out. Now, if I take out an x plus 3 here, that's gone, and I'm left with x squared. Take out an x plus 3 here, I'm left with a negative 5. You're finished. You're going to move on. All right, next one before my time gives up. Now, please remember, read through here. It's super duper important. Let's do this one. Oh my, let's finish these real quick. I'm going to factor these two out, factor these two out. These two here only share a 2. So I'm going to get 3y squared minus 10w. This one here shares, this one's not going to help me. So factor by grouping. I could probably rearrange these because I think I'm going to have to rearrange these because otherwise I can't do this problem because it won't let me, I have to rearrange this one. So I'm going to try to put my y's together. So 6y squared plus 15y minus 20w. Actually, I'm going to put the w at the end. Sometimes you have to rearrange them, not all the time, but sometimes you do. And that's going to be a minus 20w. And you guys, I'm kind of seeing something. I don't know. But anyways, we're going to just check it out and see what happens. All right, so I have 4 terms. I'm going to group the first 2 together. I'm going to group the last 2 together. Remember, crazy plus sign in the middle. Make sure you have that plus sign in the middle. These 2 here share a 3y. And I get 2y plus 5. These ones here share a negative 4w. And I'm going to get 2y plus 5. Now, they both share a 2y plus 5. And if I cancel this out, I'm left with 3y. If I cancel this out, I'm left with a negative 4w. Okay, that one took a little bit of work. So sometimes you have to rearrange them. Not all the time, but sometimes. Let's go and do this one real fast before I run out of time because I'm at 16 minutes. Okay, so again, I'm going to grab these 2 together. I might have to rearrange these. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm just going to try it. This one here is going to be 4a. So I get 4a plus 10b squared. I might have to rearrange this one. This one's going to be 4b, and that's going to give me 4a plus 10b squared. Oh, no, maybe not. And so then they both share a 4. Actually, it should be way bigger. 8. Should have taken out an 8. Didn't see that. Let me scrooge this out. Remember, you want to pick the greatest common factor. 8 should have been the greatest common factor. What was I thinking? 8a. So that should have been 2a plus 5b squared. This one here, they both share an 8. There's one more thing else that you should have done. And I guess I should have noticed that. My bad. But that's okay. We'll figure it out at the end. It's all right. I'll factor it later. I just realized there's one more thing I should have taken out. Something that they all 4 shared at first, but I didn't. So it is what it is. We'll work on it later. We'll just keep going. These 2 here share an 8b. So that's going to give you 2a plus 5b cubed. Now, what I'm going to do here is they both share a 2a plus 5b squared. You should always factor out whatever number they have in common first. In our case, we didn't, but that's okay. So if I factor out a 2a plus 5b squared, I'm left with 8a. If I do the same thing over here, I'm left with 8b. Well, if you notice in red, they both share an 8. So in reality, I'm taking out an 8, not from this one, but from this one. So 8, this is going to be a plus b. And that's going to be what? Yeah. And there you go.